There's often this great debate in video games as to whether video games can be considered truly art or not. I'm very much on the side of the fence that argues yes, and why is this even a question? And one of the games that I'd have originally put forward for this would have been Soundodger, a game that came out in the early 2010s that was a rhythm action dodge 'em up game that I think perfectly encapsulates rhythm, art, music and movement, synesthesia to a point of view, but it was like a moving geometric music video that you had to dodge and avoid everything on, that played out beautifully to the music around you. I never ever expected a sequel, and I was so delighted that Soundodger 2 was announced into early access last year, and I picked it up on day one. Could not wait to get stuck in, and I'm delighted to say that now it's released into full version 1.0. This is a definitive version of Soundodger 2 that is just mwah, chef's kiss, and I cannot recommend it enough. Soundodger 2 is a dodge 'em up. So a piece of music will play and it will generate inside its giant circle loads and loads of bullet hell attacks for you to try and avoid. But the beauty of Soundodger 2 is it expands all of the different attacks that it could potentially do to you and adds in tons of visual tricks that can trip you up too. And this allows each level to feel uniquely built to the music around you. And this is why I wanted to start off with this gaming as art principle. Because Soundodger 2, to me, is one of the most beautifully artistic games that has ever been created, because it's the perfect distillation of music triggering various different attacks or patterns or just things going on from people who are truly creative and understand Soundodger's like overall mission in life, if you will. Because each song is really uniquely tailored and built and designed and artistically like displayed, almost like an opening ceremony to an Olympics or a firework display. Soundodger 2's individual songs play out like that. One of the best examples I could probably find for you just immediately off the bat is a song by Austin Wintory that is sounding like a sea shanty. And so all of the different geometric shapes take on, like, orbs become the river, and then a tiny orb will like fly over because it's splashing to the sound of the cymbal crashes. All of the arrows that would normally just chase you around are now done into a pattern so it looks like a pirate's sword. All of these different things kick off around you, and there's a really cool like skull and crossbones moment in there too. But that's just one specific song, and I have to tell you, there's over 40. And as you kind of run through all of these, there's different versions of songs through different difficulties, challenge modes that take snippets of songs and do something very weird and wonderful with them, all of which you can just dig into and experience something that is so like visually ooh and pretty that sometimes you forget you're playing the game because you're so enamoured, or I am certainly at least, enamoured with what's going on the screen around you, to the point where I'm sitting in Zen mode just watching the game play because it's so artistically beautiful and stylised. It's just, I love it. I love it. When it comes to the actual gameplay though, Soundodger 2 is absolutely no slouch, and this is why I think it's going to be one of the definitive rhythm action games of this decade. And that's why I want to go straight in with this word of mouth, like go and grab this game, because it is absolutely superb. You can play with a controller or with a mouse to move your little circle around and make sure that you avoid all of the different attacks that are coming towards you. But the attack types have expanded from the original. So lasers, arrows, orbs will chase you around the screen or project towards wherever you were at the point of the beat or the melody or the cymbal or the keyboard or whatever it is it's doing. When it's triggered that move, it will kind of run towards you. Some of them will just do perfect little patterns, which again looks very artistic. But then there's other things that this game now starts to do. So it uses the camera to zoom in and out and dart around and do different things. It will have like a spotlight come onto you for some reason in some areas. Other modes will maybe put on a psychedelic haze to it. Songs that have vocals on, the vocals will appear around the screen and maybe something you'll need to dodge yourself. It could be that in some of the challenge modes you've got like a mirror going down the middle, so now you're looking at 2 versions or 4 versions of you and you're trying to work out how you can keep everything safe. There's also this idea that you've now got like capture the area moments in Soundodger 2 as well, and they'll fly out at you and you'll have to dodge your way through all of these bullet attacks and stay within the circle long enough so that it holds. Otherwise, that hurts you too. And all of this wasn't present in Soundodger 1, and it's that expansion on the core theme that just works so well and keeps you so engaged and really on point with trying to get to the end of these levels. Because the other big thing with Soundodger 2 is that they've added in a game over state, which really wasn't available in Soundodger. If you get hit too many times too quickly, your circle will break and shatter, and it will be game over. But the way how you can combat that is that no matter where you are in the level, once you've died, you can kind of zip back and forth and dive into specific segments in practice mode and just keep replaying that bit so that you can build your competence and confidence to really be like, got it now. And then you can flick back to then try and attempt the track itself. And initially I was a bit like, oh no, what have you done that for? That's going to make the game much harder. And yes, it does. But it really does improve the sense of achievement for when you get to the end of it. And it wouldn't have been something that I would have thought of would have been a positive implementation into the game. But I'm glad that it has, because it adds more peril into it and makes it slightly less more of a relaxing game. Now, to flip side that, other things have been added that you can use to help you out. So these are things like triggering a shield, for example. In the previous game you had slowdown, which allowed the song to slow down slightly so that you could manoeuvre yourselves around. And these do impact on your being able to get to a 100% or above score. But if you're thinking, do you know what, I just need some shields so that I can get to the end of it and that'll be good, there's still a sense of accomplishment, because next time around, instead of triggering the shield 3 times, you might do it twice or then once, for example. So it's, again, that's progression and that score chase as you go to try and get that S rank. And then completing songs opens up more as you go through, and all the different variants of stuff depending on the ranking that you get. The other really core thing, like this game has hours of music and various different difficulty modes and challenges for each level as you go through. But there is a user creation tool in here as well. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to dive fully into this, but by all accounts from the people who I follow who made music and levels for the original, this tool is much easier to understand, pick up and play and dive into. I'm going to be looking at creating some Soundodger 2 levels for music, because I really want to get into that kind of level creation side of this game, because that's ultimately where its real long tail longevity is, and why I'm tipping this as being one of the best rhythm action games probably to be coming out this decade. Because so long as there's a community who's busy supporting this, and it doesn't need to be big, it just needs to be a few real key creators, this game has legs for years to come. And the original game is still like getting custom levels put into it, and that's nearly over a decade later. I can see this being very similar, if not longer, because it is just so beautiful and enchanting and fantastic and moreish to play. I cannot think of any other better things to say about this game. This is going to be going down in my Steam all-time games list. I love it. Love it. Congratulations to everyone involved. If watching this video and hearing me like wax lyrical about this game has got you even vaguely interested in Soundodger 2, please, personal recommendation, buy this game. You will love it. Look out for some future user-generated levels coming to Higher Plane Games' YouTube channel in the future. Until then, you guys take care and happy dodging. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/Higher Network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.